And this is America's Mayor Live, and we are live from Palm Beach with, once again, the Vatican behind us, because behind those doors, very, very diligently, all day today, some 200 plus cardinals, and more than the group that will vote, have been meeting and discussing the future of the Roman Catholic Church. And they will have, as they mourn the loss of their leader, Pope Francis, they are, of course, permitted, both those who can vote and those who can't vote, to discuss the pros and cons of the various candidates. If you listen to our prior broadcast, which you can also do by going back to either X or I guess, can you get it on? Lindell TV and X. Can you get it on Lindell TV? Yeah. Okay, and on Lindell TV, you'll see that we had a very learned and interesting conversation with the Reverend Jackson Lehmeyer about the selection of the Pope and the importance to Protestants, as well as, of course, the world, but to Protestants, considering the history of the animosity at one time and to the point of violence between Catholics and Protestants. It is, with a violence, of course, gone completely. Hatred, hopefully, is gone also. And if anything, there's a remarkable amount of understanding. And on that, there's no division within, there isn't a liberal conservative division within the Catholic Church on that. I would consider myself a traditional Catholic in most respects, very much a proponent of the Latin Mass and most of the rules, but not all. I don't know what I am, but I'm certainly not a left-wing yo-yo cuckoo. But I have always believed, from the church that I was trained in, which would be considered very conservative, that Protestants had just as much of a chance to reach heaven as Catholics if they practiced their religion properly. And so did Jewish people. The idea that only Christians can reach heaven is an idea of a very small segment of Christians. Certainly not Roman Catholics. That has never been the doctrine of the Catholic Church, at least in all the time that I've been a Catholic. So in that sense, I don't know if that's not really progressive. That's the teaching of the church. So to have a conversation with the Reverend Lehmeyer, who's a good friend of mine, and when I've talked to about religion a lot and is extremely well educated in the history of religion, was, I think, very, very instructive. And I think you'll find it very interesting to see a Catholic and a Protestant reaching agreement on almost everything, but a few jurisdictional things, really. So we are completed now 100 days of the Trump administration. And although these polls that have come out from the communist majority media show him somewhat unpopular, not really unpopular, but somewhat unpopular, particularly with regard to the economy because of the tariffs, and not so much really because of Ukraine and Israel, which have not met a resolution yet. When you look at it, the accomplishments far outweigh, and I don't know that he's had a failure. There are things he hasn't completed yet, right? I mean, he hasn't completed the work of peace in the Middle East, or peace in Ukraine. He hasn't completed the full rollout of the tariffs, which now here I would say the criticism is completely unfair. If anything, the rollout of the tariffs so far has been extraordinarily positive. So let's look at what he undeniably did in the first 100 days that may put him in the category of having one of the strongest 100 days of any president in history. He He just stopped on a dime illegal immigration. Because he did it so quickly and so efficiently, people think that's easy. I didn't think he could do that. I mean, you're talking about 12,000 a month down to 70. That's impossible. Except if it's very well organized, very well done, and tremendous cooperation from the Mexican government, which he was able to get. Restore, stay in Mexico, get patrol in the 2-3 mile area right near the border, stop people from coming in and sending them back immediately. For those who are seeking hearings, put them in jail until they get their hearing, instead of put them in the United States for the next 10 years before they get a hearing. Biden had catch and release. Trump has catch and deport, or catch and detain. Stops it. Boom. How about people being sent back? There you may get confused because the judges have put some judges have put an injunction on his ability to send back those animals and criminals that he sent to El Salvador, including this Garcia guy that the Democrats want to bring back. I don't know, maybe they want to run him for Congress. Except the guy came in illegally several times, beat the living daylights out of his girlfriend several times, transported major members of MS-13 around several times, has been recorded twice and with judicial recognition of being a high-level member of MS-13, which features chopping the heads of children off, and is clearly a member of MS-13 because he's got it tattooed all over the place except on his face. Yet the Democrats are dying to bring him back, I guess, so he can beat up some more women. Not enough damage has been done by this guy. He's the charter case for the difference between our two parties, isn't it? So I would say that the deportation phase of this, which I always knew would be the more complicated, is going along, even with the interruptions, very, 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 very well. Do we have some video of the group that was put outside the White House as an example of the kinds of people that have been thrown out of the United States, who will not be, you will not be in fear of your daughter being raped by them? So if you look at that, list, I have a difficulty reading it, but you may be able to see it. If you look at that list, these are the people. These pictures were all put outside the White House. These are mostly serious violent criminals. I think 20 of them are murderers. About 30 of them are rapists. These are the people that were sent down with the poster boy from El Salvador.
So if you can't see that, it's a lot of these are, for example, indecent assault of a person less than 13, sexual assault of a child, lewd and lascivious acts against a child under 14.
I mean, we're talking about perverts. Let's make it simple. Animal perverts that the Democrats want to bring back. Now, you tell me why. I do not understand it. I do not understand when you go through that entire list, how, in the name of God, you could want any of these people back and be your next door neighbor. Unless you don't give a damn what happens to your kids. Now, this has to be an ulterior motive for this. The Democrats aren't doing this because they want these people back. I mean, you can go through this list at your leisure. These are animals. This is the reason why crime is down in America. And we got a lot more of them. In fact, how about this? We don't know how many of them we have because Biden just let them in. And no one but me pays attention to this. Give me a whiteboard. I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to take a whiteboard. And despite the fact that I'm angry, I'm not going to break it. I'm going to use it for a useful purpose.
We have enough. We can break one.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code Rudy. Act fast.
These
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. Welcome back. Here's what I want to show to you. And I need you guys to go find my white pencil, which is not attached to that, but I have to do this first. So there are three. I don't think so. Let me try it. I don't think so. No. So there are three categories of illegals, okay? One are detained. The other are gotaways. And the third are never seen. So the detained under Herr Biden were about 8 million. The gotaways were about 2 million. The never saw were that. That's a question mark, huh? So we have 8 million that were detained, but they weren't detained. They were caught and released. They are hanging out in the United States right now, except to the extent that we've thrown them out. in the got away position of 2 million are people that we saw, but we didn't catch. We either saw them with some degree of ability to identify them, or we saw them with we saw 3 people. That's 2 million people. We know nothing about them. We know about the 8 million that came in, much less than we normally did, because every year Biden not only brought in more and more people, one year 3.5 million, but he reduced the questioning to the point where Chinese were only asked 4 questions, if they were asked any at all, to the point where Venezuelans were asked no questions because you couldn't verify their answers, because Maduro wouldn't cooperate, nor could Biden do anything to get him to cooperate. You tell me, how did Trump stop this in a month? I mean, he certainly stopped these 2 in a month, just by enforcing the law, because Biden was a criminal. Biden was a thoroughgoing, perverted criminal. And the Democratic Party loved him for it, because he let them get away with all the shit they get away with. So there you go, 10 million people. We either have very little knowledge or we have no idea who they are. But what's this here? Never saw. So this is a phenomenon that I was a big expert in, because I used to run immigration for the Reagan administration, and we used to count these people. But there are so many of them, we stopped counting them, and we never even tell you about them. Even the conservative media doesn't tell you about them. This is a very, very bad map. Unfortunately, it was one I could put up right away. But that's a rough estimate there of the border. Okay, so on the border there are about 11 or 12. There are about 11 or 12. There are about 11 or 12 border points. Okay, so it's those border points where you get the detained people, right? That's where they come over the border, either at the border point, like here, here's El Paso, the one that we talk so much about. And we go over here. They don't have it listed, but over here in the area of Arizona, on the border with California, there's a big entry point. There's one in California, there's one here in Arizona, and there's one here on the border. Okay, so I don't know, 8, 10, right? Now I want you to consider the following. I want you to consider this and that, okay? You see that? There's no border point along the Rio for those areas. Nor is there one from here to here. Nor is there one from there to there, or there to there. Now, what do you think the cartels do in those areas where there is no enforcement? Remember, on this side of the border, that's owned by the Mexican cartels, or up until now. They control it. You go in there, they'll kill the Mexican police. It's owned by the Sinaloa cartel, probably the most famous, El Golfo cartel, which got its name from the Gulf of America. Maybe they'll have to change now. And then 2 or 3 major cartels like that, and smaller ones. Now, these cartels are not to be taken lightly. They are well represented all throughout the United States. They are extraordinarily wealthy maybe as the mafia ever was. They've been doing business for over 20 years with China. They've been doing business for over 20 years with Al-Qaeda. They've been doing business for 20 years with Islamic extremist groups you've never heard of. And they have been doing the most business with child traffickers from all over the world. And their business has grown by leaps and bounds under their biggest benefactor, Joe the pervert Biden. He made them into we never were the biggest human trafficking country in the world. That distinction was given to us by the man who killed more Americans than any American president in peacetime, Joe Biden and his Democratic Party. So when you go from less than 1 million people a year coming in, like Trump's last year was 400,000. Biden's first year was 1.7 million, and he soon got to 3.5 million from 400,000, right? Those border points that we see there, right? They get completely overwhelmed, right? So long before anybody ever thought that anybody would do the kind of un-American, traitorous, horrible, inhumane things that Biden did, Harvard and Yale and MIT and University of Pennsylvania did studies, because I remember using these studies. And what their studies were about were how many people, if 8 million came in under Biden that were detected and released, if 2 million came in that were gotaways, how many came in that we never saw? We used to calculate that until we decided to hide the truth, as we have on so many other things. Now, here's the thing that amazes me and angers me. That truth is hidden from CNN, MSNBC, blah, blah, blah. Conservative outlets don't bother to analyze this. And I'm going to tell you the formula that used to exist. The formula that existed, the most generous in terms of, or the least onerous, was of the known, 50% came in, I'm going to use a different color here, if I may, came in these areas. See, like right there. So you look around, right? And you see, this is like one of the most, right here is like one of the most, that's very active. So you realize between here and here and between here and here, you got plenty of room. Nobody's going to watch you. Nobody's going to see you. Nobody's going to know what the hell is going on. And the estimates are these estimates go back about 10, 15 years when people were not hiding the truth. Estimates are between 50 and 200% of the known. So if the known is 10 million, then it's 15 million, right? Or 30 million. That's what we're dealing with. And that group in those little spots there, we have no idea who the hell they are. And do you think they're the legitimate ones? Do you think the cartels would waste all the time to do a nice, careful entry of them for no money and because they're just nobody that want jobs? They want to work in a restaurant. They want to pick fields. Like the Sinaloa cartel is going to get $1 million to bring someone like that in, or a group like that in. Well, you think it's more likely that's the way Chinese spies come in, or Russian spies, or Al-Qaeda operatives, or ISIS operatives, or the unbelievably large group of human, child, and women traffickers. And that's the reason we are the #1 human trafficking country in the world. Will you please look at that? Because nobody else shows you that. And it angers the hell out of me. Because the most difficult thing in law enforcement is when you're going after what you don't know you're going after. And if we're going to have to give due process to 10 million people or 15 million people, they'll be here for 5 generations. Who the hell ever said that illegals get due process in the sense of American due process that American citizens get? Actually, no one's ever said that. But the damn liberals who hate this country. This is a formula to destroy America. 10 million hearings in front of half left-wing judges who hide criminals. What's that all about? Has the Democrat Party gone completely nuts? Does it just want to say it's a communist party? They have judges hiding criminals. They have judges like that woman judge in left-wing part of Wisconsin who goes out and is angry at legitimate federal agents trying to do their job to pick up a guy that beat somebody 30 times. And she goes out there angry at them. And she intimidates them to the extent she can. And she says, I'm not going to recognize the administrative warrant. You got to go see the chief judge. I've had 1,000, 2,000 administrative warrants, maybe 10,000 when I ran immigration. The guy is in front of her for a crime. The guy is in front of her for beating a guy 30 times. It's not like they're after Father Jones or Altar Boy Smith. The guy's a damn animal. Beat his friend, knocked a woman around. And this judge is protecting her, protecting him. She goes out and she tries to get the feds to leave. She misleads them. She goes back on the bench. She puts the animal in the jury box that's reserved for court officials so he can sneak out. She reserves the area he's going to come out as a place where he can't be arrested. She can't do this. This isn't in the role of a judge. You don't get immunity for this. Judges don't get immunity for helping criminals to escape. Where the hell are we? Nazi Germany? This woman is a damn fascist. She's not a liberal. She's a damn fascist who endangers your community by her very existence as a judge. I don't know what's wrong with her. All I can tell you is she's a seriously disturbed human being. And all the liberals, judicial immunity, judicial. She's a criminal. Now, I don't know if she knows the guy in New Mexico, Cano. The guy in New Mexico takes the bum in. He's got MS. I'm sorry, he's got Trondiagra crap all over his arms. He might as well be holding a sign. Judge Trondiagra, we kill people. Ha, 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 ha. And we're all over the United States, and we're making real headway in Colorado. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, you can live with us. You can have our daughter. This is a judge harboring a wanted criminal and a dangerous wanted criminal, member of one of the most dangerous gangs in the world. And the Democrat judge, like that, they got it in common, right? And the Democrat judge in Wisconsin are harboring them. And the Democrats are flocking around them and trying to make Trump into some kind of demon. Trump is trying to save your life. And they are trying to kill you because they are distorted Marxists. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in decency. They don't believe in any rules other than the ones that will benefit them. and they belittle you and hate you. And where's the violence coming from? Who the hell is burning up Teslas? The Proud Boys? I don't even know where the hell they are. We going to get control of this, or aren't we? We're just going to watch this like this is what demonstrations, this is what the Martin Luther King demonstrations have now become. I mean, we were doing it in 2020. Those damn animals were burning down everything. None of them went to jail, thanks to the people you elected to office. Or did you? We got a hell of a job ahead of us straightening out this country, because we got within this country quislings. Do you know what quislings are? Ted? Stephen? Dr. Maria?
Quislings. What are quislings?
Quislings were the people, I believe in the Netherlands, who cooperated with the Nazis and pretended to be decent people. Either the Netherlands or one of those intermediate countries. They were known as quislings, otherwise known in Brooklyn as rats. Stinking, disgusting, lousy rats. Collaborating with the atheistic Chinese communists, the atheistic one world people, Klaus the crook Schwab. Was I right about him, boys and girls? Klaus Schwab. I'd like to meet Daddy Schwab and Grandpa Schwab. Like to see the lineage of the Schwab family. You will all be part of one world. The United States is an abomination. It will cease now. Schwab, I think you're on your way to jail, you crook. This is our opportunity. We may never get it again. Trump cannot be set back by these people who are trying to stop him from just trying to normalize this country. They are the ones who distorted it. They're the ones who have destroyed it. So now let's go to a different subject, because I know this fascinates people, and it's an important subject, a lot more important than we often give it credit for, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to ask my little team here of geniuses to chime in. I'm even going to see if I can encourage Dr. Maria to chime in. Let's take a little quiz. Just straight out, no facts, nothing else. You all know the facts. And vote 1, 2, 3. We'll start with, can we hear Dr. Maria over there?
Sure. I can be her like proxy over here.
All right. Well, you say it loud and Stephen will repeat it. But I'm going to have Dr. Maria vote first, and then I'm going to go in reverse order. So, how many people, do you believe that Epstein committed suicide, was murdered, or was induced to commit suicide? What?
I firmly believe that he was murdered.
Stephen, that was Dr. Maria, in case you didn't notice the voice.
I hate to just copy off her, but yeah, I'm definitely in the same camp.
You're not even like a sort of a murder they made to look like a suicide.
Yeah, he was suicided, as they say.
Yeah. Okay, good. We got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm in that camp where he was either allowed to kill himself or he was strangled.
Okay, so I am firmly in the camp that they murdered him, and I know the prison. Of all of us, I'm the only one that's been in that prison.
You don't know my
life. Not only do I know that prison, I helped watch. I can't say I helped get build it. I watched it get built because it was built right next to my U.S. Attorney's office that I was the commander of. So Oh my God, I don't think anybody will beat my record for putting prisoners there, because since I left, they stopped putting prisoners anywhere. But yeah, every head of the mafia was in that prison. So were Nazi war criminals in that prison. So were some of the biggest damn perverts you ever saw in your whole life. And so were a lot of very, very crooked politicians, Republican and Democrat, but the real serious ones that had infiltrated the city and been running it for the last 150 years were Democrats. They're running it again now. So I know that prison really well. It's a trick to commit suicide in that prison. It's low. It's completely on camera. If the camera doesn't work, it blinks. If the camera doesn't work, sometime in 8 hours, you notice it, right? Let's say you're sitting at a group of cameras. This guy's got a group of on these. He was not, for some reason, they moved Epstein out of a suicide cell. They put him in another cell with another guy. The guy intimidated him. We don't know what that is. Never been revealed. Barr hit it. So then they put him in an empty cell, but not a suicide cell, but still a surveillance cell, meaning it was on the board. The cameras went out for 8 hours. That's 2 tours. That means I walked in that day, I looked at all my cameras, and I said, that camera's out on the most sensitive prisoner in my facility. But that's okay, I'll keep it out. Horseshit. Go tell that to someone else, fat Barr. You know, Barr pronounced this all regular. You also know that Barr's father hired Epstein. You also know that Barr originally was going to recuse himself from this case. Then he didn't. Then he declared it copacetic. This was an absolutely clear suicide. Who the hell was he covering up? The Barr. It's beyond my ability to accept coincidence that his father hired Epstein, and he did everything he can to cover this up. Never put out the full report either, and pronounced it a legitimate suicide, including significant discrepancies in the coroner's report. Now, this woman, Giuffre, poor woman, young girl, lovely young girl at the time that she was being abused, apparently by, come on. Yes, I'm a honorary knight of the British Empire. So that what, I'm going to go lie? For that, I've had people come up to me and say, how could you say this about Prince Andrew? You know him. I do know him. He offered me my knighthood. I spent time with him at golf tournaments. What the hell's he doing with this little girl? And with Epstein, the pervert? I've heard no explanation of that. Okay, he's presumed innocent. No, he's not. What's he doing with the little girl? We're talking like men, like human beings. If I saw him, I'd say, hey, Prince, what were you doing with the little girl, huh? I don't like guys who are with little girls. Got it? Now, you tell me what you were doing with that little girl. How come you have your arm around her and you're with the biggest scumbag in the world, Epstein? I know you're a prince. A prince of what? The country we defeated and became free of? Yeah, the country that now wants to do away with free speech? Why is everybody so easy on him? I loved his mother. A lot, even better mothers than her had perverted kids. Not her fault. So
This is Guthrie right here, and this is the tweet.
I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me protect them. Oh, everybody's gone away. Just like, I don't know, weren't we going to put these things out a month ago? Now, this is on us. What the hell's going on, guys? I mean, I don't know. How do I know if she committed suicide or not? I'm pretty close to sure that piece of crap you see on there committed suicide. And I have no idea what this one's doing except saving her life from all the powers that will destroy her if she ever opens her disgusting, perverted mouth. But this girl, her family put out, she lost her life to suicide. But didn't she say she wanted her family protected? Isn't that the only way they can protect themselves? Isn't the only way that then the mistress can protect herself by just proving to them she can keep her mouth shut? Maybe they trust her that she can. She's been in jail a long time now, hasn't opened her mouth. It'd be kind of silly to kill her. Frank Costello convinced the mafia to allow him to retire with all his money after they tried to kill him, because they took their attempt to kill him. He knew who killed him, who tried to kill him. He wouldn't testify. Then he went and met them and he said, didn't I prove myself? Just let me retire. I'll keep my mouth shut. If I wasn't going to say you tried to kill me, I'm not going to, you can trust me. And they retired him. I think that's what's going on with the mistress. So Jeffrey's got a lawsuit against Prince Andrew, claiming that he had sex with her 3 times when she was a teen in London, New York, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. They reached a settlement. It was supposed to be $12 million. Boys, her lawyer, we'll say nothing. Boys, her lawyer, maybe, said the settlement that was reached was only a starting point and that his client had always hoped for a formal apology. Andrew's statement at the time did not admit any wrongdoing, but said he accepts that Jeffrey has suffered as an established victim of sex abuse. It's a blot, and a serious one, on our entire government and our legal system and our Justice Department because of the possible involvement of our Attorney General in this. Not just the possible, clear evidence that he could have been involved. A clear situation where he should have recused himself and did not. One of the other great accomplishments of the president in his first 100 days, this is the first serious effort I've seen in this country, including from the coward Franklin Roosevelt, who refused to take Jews who were going to be sent off to their death. This is the first real effort on the part of a president to combat anti-Semitism. I mean, he's going at it tooth and nail with these massive universities like Harvard. Now, for Harvard to resist that they're anti-Semitic is one of the biggest jokes of American history. If you were to pick in American history, the one university that was the most anti-Semitic historically, it would be Harvard University. Jews need not apply. You know how many unbelievably qualified medical students were rejected by Harvard Medical School over 50 years? My God, they could have put together, they'd solve cancer. You know how hard it was for a Jew to get into the law school? Or the way they were treated if they could slip in? Hey, back in the 20s, it was hard for a Catholic to get in. Oh, maybe it had a few years of who knows what. Now it's turned into a viciously anti-Semitic. At least those people weren't subjected to violence. Now it's turned into a viciously anti-Semitic, major hate Jews group, Harvard, where violence is attached to what happens, and demonstrations take place, and students are intimidated. And they do nothing about it. They say nothing about it. And they're suing the government for holding its money back because they're Harvard and they want to protect their, what, 4 or 5 billion when they have a $50 billion endowment. I mean, they can go be as anti-Jewish as they want. Just do it on their own money and don't go there. And boy, I curse every penny I gave them. Every penny. And if I had a Harvard degree, I'd burn it. I'd have burned it 30 years ago, actually. I knew what a piece of shit they were then. So how about this? An anti-Israel group sent an email blast to city teachers pushing for a May Day strike and other civil disobedience to protest the Gaza war. Rise up against the ongoing Israeli genocide in Gaza. Don't rise up against Hamas dedicating itself to the extermination of the Jewish people. Oh no, we want that to happen. Now, I want you to notice something, please, 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 because I say this all the time, but you want a little piece of proof that only a great prosecutor would pick out? There's something here that proves what I've always been saying about the teachers' union being a communist union. What is it? I want to see if any of you can put it down on there, can send it into us. When I just read to you, what is it that is a circumstantial evidence that Giuliani's correct and that the teachers' union, with that disgusting creep that I had to negotiate with for 6 years running it, that they're a bunch of damn dyed-in-the-wool, atheistic, anti-American, anti-democracy communists. I'm going to read it to you one more time. An anti-Israeli group sent an email blast to city teachers pushing for a May Day strike and other civil disobedience to protest the Gaza war. Rise up against the ongoing Israeli genocide. And many Jewish people feel very unsafe. They want it to be stopped. And that's all important. It should be stopped. But I'm making a bigger point. I'm making a bigger point for when I conduct my trial to show that the teachers union is, there'll be a lot more solid evidence than this, but this is a great piece of circumstantial evidence. So I'm going to take a short break. I could come back and we're going to see if we get anybody that gets it right. Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory, or it's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month.
Wow.
Including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax, channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code Rudy. Act fast.
These
This is Rudy Giuliani back with America's Mayor Live. Okay, enough for the fooling around. Here's why there's a circumstantial evidence that these groups, these Hamas groups, these teachers groups are damn communists. Let me read to you from a highly biased source, Wikipedia. May Day, also known as International Workers' Day, has strong historical ties to communism and the labor movement. It was established in 1889 as a day to commemorate the labor movement and advocate for an 8-hour workday with great influence from socialists and communists. Many communist countries, like the Soviet Union and China, celebrate May Day with large parades and military might. An anti-Israeli group sent an email blast to city teachers pushing for a May Day strike and other civil disobedience. They didn't pick May Day out of the blue. They picked May Day because all over the world, communists celebrate May Day. And the teachers' union is communist. Why not add this to their communist celebrations? So now we have the connection between communism and Hamas terrorism, which has been there from the beginning. And this is sent around to the New York City teachers. Now, whoever sent this around should be fired. I'm not feeling safe when I get an email like that, one Jewish teacher said. Of course you don't. You probably don't even know the historical significance of this. This shows the unbelievable lock the disgusting teachers union has on education and its close connection to atheistic communism. And I'm telling you, teachers, here's the usual statement from the Pamsy Wamsies. There are a lot of good teachers that really care about the children. If you belong to the teachers union, you don't give a shit about the students because your union doesn't give a shit about the students. And all they do is double cross them and screw them. And they're the biggest group of racists you ever met. And take a look at this. From the time I left as mayor, the amount of money going to the schools has gone up 2.5 times, and they have fallen 22 positions in reading and writing and arithmetic. So they get $32,000, $33,000, $34,000 a student, and they're number 27 in reading. They get the most money in the world, and they are one of the worst performers in the world. And it happens year after year after year as the communist union that you are becoming like Nazi prison guards to destroy our children, particularly our black children. So when the hell are you going to leave? When you become a bureaucrat and don't have to work? Gosh almighty, you work about 3 hours a day now with 4 months off. Don't give me this, a lot of good teachers. No, you don't belong to the Communist Teachers Union if you're a good person. Have I made myself clear? Thank you. Nothing more important than kids. And boy, do you double cross them. And what you've done to black kids, you should go to hell for. Well, here's a good one. 2 Columbia University custodians are suing 40 protesters from Hamilton Hall for attacking them in their anti-Semitic riots. You got to do something about this. You just can't sit back and watch it. And you got to stand up, and someday you got to say, "Oh, I can't do anything about it. I'm just a member of the teachers union." Yeah, I know, and they want to teach them that they should chop off their genitals, but I can't do much about that either. President Trump's February 4 executive order mandated a review of U.S. membership in UNESCO. The decision is due by May 5. UNESCO is another aider and abetter of terrorists. 3 of their 11 program issues this year was direct criticism of Israel, no criticism of Palestine or Hamas. The UN is a creature of Islamic extremism, as well as Chinese communism. What the hell are we doing as part of it? It's really good that Elise Stefanik is going to run for governor and not part of the UN. I don't know if it's definite, but she's definitely not going to be part of the UN.
Yeah, I know.
And why the hell don't we just get out? Take our money out? Huh? Use it to retire the debt? And kick them out. Would save New York City an awful lot of criminal justice, waste of time, where we arrest them for raping their kids, beating their wives, stealing from people. And then we can't do anything because they come up with these, "Oh, I have immunity. I'm going to go beat her up some more. Screw you, cop." Helps being mayor. You learn the real facts. The Giants were not at the White House yesterday, which is the reason I wasn't going to cover this. But when I saw Saquon Barkley, a former Giant, who I think the Giants stupidly let go, and I saw the guts that it took for him to show up because he had played golf with Trump, and he made a very, very simple statement, not a political one. I don't know what Saquon's politics are. He could be a Trump supporter. He could be a Biden supporter. He could be a no supporter. He said, when Obama invited us, I went because I respect the presidency. When Trump invited us, I went because I respect the presidency. And when he asked me to play golf, I went because I thought it was an honor to play golf with the president. I love you, Saquon. Okay, I mean manly love. And I am really sorry that we lost you. You don't know how much it bothered me. And I wasn't angry at you. I don't think it's your fault. Now, your quarterback, who I rooted for in the Super Bowl, largely because, like Trump, who said at the end about Taylor Swift, I don't know what that jackass is doing not going. What the hell's wrong with him? I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's not that good. I mean, this isn't a Brady or a Manning or a who are your quarterbacks? I've forgotten. Of course.
Well, now we have Jordan Love. But
Jordan Love. Who the hell is Jordan Love?
Brett Favre.
Who's the corrupt
Brett
one?
Favre.
Oh,
We
Brett
love
Favre.
Brett Favre, but
Brett
you know,
Favre's not corrupt.
well,
That's
ever
what they say.
since he started supporting Trump, there's been some
Why is he
anti-Brett
cor-
Favre stories out
What's
there.
he corrupt about?
Apparently, he stole
not-
some
no, he
volleyball
didn't. No.
courts, like
No, he
7.
didn't. No.
No.
Stephen
Okay,
is
never
Stephen
mind.
is simply
He owns volleyball.
no. He's
No, no, he
rehashing
got- he
liberal
got-
lies in the
He
media.
got some money from the
Stephen,
government.
why don't you explain? Yeah, get it
What
out. Your hit piece that you
Okay,
can't
so
even
he-
word right.
He
He can't even. Yeah, what hit piece?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Come on, give
Come
us
on,
the
give it to
used
us.
COVID-related money
Okay, that's
for.
already inaccurate.
Okay.
Even the accusations aren't even.
Well, I don't really know.
no. My point being, and I hate to use Stephen as an example here.
Okay, sorry,
these-
he's not corrupt.
Would you
Never
show
mind.
a picture of these guys? One's got a Green Bay Packer hat on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No bias here.
Yeah, I'm a little biased, but yeah, no, but it's true though. Ever since he came out in support of Trump, there's been this hate on Brett Favre. He was always considered just an shucks good old boy,
Oh, I love
You know,
Brett Favre because
yeah.
he was a fighter.
right? But now, since he came out in support of Trump, they've come up with all these smears against him.
You know, nobody. I mean, Brett Favre was a Green Bay Packer quarterback, but he was not. He was not one of those quarterbacks that other teams hate, because he was such a gamer and an honor. It's like LT, my hero, Lawrence Taylor, who obviously has had a lot of personal problems. LT has ended about 4 quarterback careers and about 5 other careers. Not a single person who has a bad word to say about him. They'll actually come out and, like Theismann, he ended Theismann's career. Ended it. Theismann will tell you it was a completely legitimate play. The guy didn't know his own strength. He said, he didn't mean to do it to me. He came and he apologized. The guy did not know his own strength. By the way, all bullshit aside, Lawrence Taylor was the greatest defensive player ever. No question about that. He's the greatest football player ever. Someday I'll prove it. We'll get him on. We'll get him on. If he doesn't agree, he won't even be here anymore.
There is a Netflix. All right, to be fair to Steven, there is a Netflix special coming out on Brett Favre.
What?
And they're calling it, this is what got me out. The Fall of Favre.
Well, what did he do?
Exactly.
Okay, so I just did a whole lot of research.
Okay, he's going to fall. I don't even know for what.
Yeah, exactly.
Was he throwing games?
Well, a state audit in Mississippi revealed that millions of dollars intended for welfare programs were diverted to various projects, including a college volleyball facility and a company developing a concussion drug, of which Favre was a shareholder. And he's accused of receiving over $1 million in speaking fees for events that he didn't attend, and also pushed for $5 million in funding. This is the big one, for a volleyball stadium where his daughter was currently playing, right? And he wasn't going to pay for the stadium, obviously. No, he's holy moly, high and mighty Brett Favre, right?
How is any of that on Favre? Is Brett Favre in charge of doling out state money?
If true, I have heard some kind of like sleazy stuff. I haven't heard anything. That's a crime.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor. We're not saying he's a criminal. Actually, I would never say that. I mean, it's all allegedly from my standpoint too. But no, I mean, you don't have to be a criminal to be like a sleazy, to have a fall, right?
But Mayor, everything you heard there, right? Go back up, Stephen. Everything
one
you
at
heard
a time. Let's do one at a time.
So here's the first. A state audit revealed that millions of dollars intended for welfare programs were diverted to various projects. This is the state of Mississippi, including a college volleyball facility.
Well, that may have been better than the welfare program.
But the point there being, I believe his daughter was attending the school.
Yeah, okay, but it's going to be there for the next 40 years.
Right. And who's to say whether Favre knew where this money was coming from, right? This is a state audit over the state of Mississippi.
Let's put COVID welfare money in. In other words, people were going to be given more money than they got from work, so they didn't have to go to work.
Right.
Maybe this was a good thing. I would maintain, without knowing this, that volleyball thing they put there is going to be a far greater value to the community than giving a bunch of people a reason not to work.
And then this thing about the speaking fees, I'm sure, who knows, there's probably some disputes, right, over specific events. Maybe he had to cancel. There's not enough there to allege any sort of criminal activity. This is somebody, I guess, in NFL circles, probably the highest paid public speaker for football in terms of former players.
How much did he get?
Right?
He got $1 million in speaking fees where they allege he didn't show up. We don't know if he didn't show up, or we don't know if he did something alternative for it.
Right.
Maybe he did a video.
Right.
I'm excited. When's the documentary coming out?
I believe May 20th. And it's called The Fall of Favre.
Oh, we're not getting paid for this either.
No,
the Fall of Favre.
Isn't that amazing? Like they're just writing them out. The fall of, not even the rise and fall and rise again. Yeah, he came out big as a Trump supporter this cycle, and now they're all hate. Now he's getting on that, and now a Netflix special is coming out. The Fall of Favre.
I just like to tear down Ted's heroes, so that's why I'm doing. I don't really,
It's just another.
I actually love Brett Favre, to be honest.
I mean, every once in a while, even though Ted is usually wrong, every once in a while he's right.
Well, Mayor, come on.
I'm supposed to be his friend.
That's how you know, though.
I'm supposed to be his friend, and I'm defending him. But he knows. This little son of a gun knows I have a soft spot for the Packers.
Well,
it's one of the football teams. I have a bigger soft spot for the Packers, maybe.
We share a hero.
Maybe the Jets. Maybe. I mean, I rooted for the Jets for a while.
My second favorite Italian New Yorker, Vince Lombardi.
Oh, yeah, one of my favorite Italians ever, Vince Lombardi. What a great man.
Could you have done that, Mayor? Could you have
Very
left New York
religious
City?
man too.
Could you have left New
Went to church every day, every day, every day.
St. Vincent?
Oh my gosh, Vince Lombardi.
Saint
You gotta watch
All
some
we
of these
need now-
documentaries.
All we need now are 2 miracles, and we'll make him a saint. Saint Vincent, Saint Santa Vincenzo.
But he went to Green Bay. He went from New York to the small outpost of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he put that city on the map, like he promised.
I had a maternal grandfather named Vincenzo.
You know, they used to say you knew
Vincenzo.
when. Oh, sorry.
Vincenzo.
What? That's the name.
My grandfather's name was Vincenzo.
Wasn't there a recent Pope? Pope Vincent?
No, I don't think there was a Pope Vincent. I know you said that to me before.
I know there's a Saint Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh, there are many Saint Vincents.
Yeah, you
Saint
drop
Vincent
off your
Ferrer. Saint Vincent
donations
Ferrer
there.
is very, very famous, a Dominican priest. The church that I was part of in Manhattan was named for him. Saint Vincent Ferrer, Saint Catherine of Siena, and Saint Dominic were the major saints of the Dominican order.
Yeah. This.
So back to Lombardi though. You used to know when his wife was around. This is what everyone would say because you could always hear loudly, "Shut up, Marie." He would always.
Another hit job. What is this, Steven?
Yeah, no, I actually heard that.
Well,
Was it a document? We
It's
watched
in
the
love.
documentary.
what
It's
you
obviously
should
a
know,
loving
what you
way.
should know about Marie, God, I wish I knew if she was still alive. But every time the Giants played the Green Bay Packers, whether it was in New York or in Green Bay, the wife of the owner of the Giants and Mrs. Lombardi had dinner the night before the game because they were such close friends. Remember, you better not touch Vince Lombardi because not only is he an Italian saint, but he's a New York Giant like Belichick, a winner of what would have been the equivalent of the Super Bowl. He was the offensive coordinator for the greatest game that they lost, but for the 56 championship, they won 56-7. His co-coach was Greg Landry. The Giants lost. The Giants lost. If you had to put the 5 greatest coaches in football, and if we assume that Belichick is one because of the numbers, or maybe Lombardi still, you got to put
He won some championships too.
you got to put Landry in the 5.
Yeah, I would.
So the Giants had
Yeah.
2 of the greatest coaches ever, and they gave them away, and they went into the dark ages for 18 years.
That's right. Before Bill Parcells came along.
Another great coach,
Another maybe top 5. Definitely top 5.
creator of Belichick.
Right. The Giants they've literally had maybe 4 or 5 of the best coaches. of all
Yeah,
time.
but look I'm not impressed with their draft.
It's
Not
so hard to
impressed.
say, right? How can 5 years from now, right? Let's review it. Like this year, we should be reviewing the 2020 draft. 5 years in, how the players are doing.
Oh, that'd be an interesting little special. I'm still confused about this Sanders guy and why everyone's saying it's racism.
Hey,
We should do something like this.
what?
Why is it everyone's saying the Sanders draft that he was drafted low? They're saying it's because of racism.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can only make one. When you look at the number of black people drafted who are going to get hundreds of millions of dollars, it's hard to believe. I mean, then I want to be racist. I'm in favor of racism if I get $100 million for it. I mean, this is ridiculous. All I don't know. I can't. Wasn't half the draft black?
More than that.
Oh, probably.
So how much money is given away to all those people in the draft?
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean,
NFL has made more black millionaires probably than any
you
organization.
you, you
or
think
industry in the
you
planet.
think the money they give out is maybe $300-400 million to all those kids?
Yeah.
Name an organization or entity that
Okay,
creates more black millionaires.
Let's say it's 300 billion they're giving out as a virtual. 200 billion are going to black people.
Right. Yeah.
And
At least,
now, if
yeah.
that's racist, I think everybody would want to be racist.
Salary cap is 300 million per team. So 300 times 32.
That's not for the new ones. That's
Totally.
Yeah, but
That's how much they spend each year.
the top ones get fortunes now.
That's over
But-
almost
but-
$10 billion
but-
salaries.
I mean, it's obvious why the guy was drafted down near the bottom. If he was a white guy, he'd have been drafted down near the bottom. He looks like he's a problem case.
Right.
He's a big mouth.
Oh yeah. It's not
He's a big shot. He's got a father who's a problem, and he doesn't want to be a running back or a safety he wants to be the leader of the team.
Right.
You can ruin a whole team with a jackass like
It's
that.
the A word, attitude.
Yeah, you get a white guy with that attitude, nobody's going to even know about it. They're just not going to look at him.
right.
The coaches go there, and I mean the scouts go there. The guy's got a great record for Michigan or Notre Dame, or he can pass, he can do everything, and all of a sudden they start talking to the teammates, and they say he's a jackass. He doesn't communicate with anybody. He's an introvert. He won't take instruction.
Plays music too
He
loud.
the coach says, hey, by the way, he's got great talent, which is why he gets by, but he won't listen to anything. The guy doesn't get drafted. I'm sorry. I mean, these teams don't draft for fun.
Right. Their jobs are on the line. These
Their
head
job
coaches
and
general
millions
managers.
of dollars are
Yeah,
on the line.
And you got to live. I mean, it's a life, like you're spending a lot of time with these people, and you want to have a good environment where everyone can succeed.
As a
Yeah,
quarterback,
exactly.
as a quarterback, you set the whole tone of the team.
Yeah.
If you're a
Especially-
jackass, the team is a jackass.
And if he's drafted in the first round, there's a lot of expectation that you're going to play that guy.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't get drafted in the first round. They didn't feel his talent. These are
It's why the greatest mistake in football is when they put Kaepernick in as a
What a
rookie.
bum.
Yeah, and then he threw away the Super Bowl, which I predicted. And this is before he started taking a knee, because
Yeah.
I saw it uncontrolled, out of control, Yahoo, running when he didn't have to.
Right.
And then I saw Russell Wilson, who was in roughly that same class, a lot smaller, nowhere near the athletic ability, who won a Super Bowl and lost a Super Bowl, but was a great quarterback for Seattle without the physical gifts of the other
Right.
guy, except for one thing. We call it a brain.
And Kaepernick, that's right, Mayor. And Kaepernick didn't start taking the knee until he was benched, right? Until he was no longer
Kaepernick
playing.
was
He didn't-
Kaepernick was
it was so
finished when he
phony.
started taking a knee.
Right. So phony. It was all phony.
Loser.
This is Shadur Sanders.
When
draft night.
did he get drafted?
Fifth round.
What?
Fifth round.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a precipitous drop, and most drafting experts even thought he'd get picked sooner.
They
But they're not
actually
really
thought
experts.
they actually thought he would go late in the first round, just out of
Exactly.
intimidation.
Yeah. But the real people, the talent evaluators, the people that the teams hire, they don't care about any of that, right? They're just looking at his talent on the field, and it's clear that they didn't feel his talent outweighed.
Well, the NFL
spectacle that
certainly
was
made a
coming.
verdict on him, and nobody can call the NFL racist. That's ridiculous.
But what about
It's
the?
absurd.
I mean, almost some teams might actually appreciate the whole social media team that the Sanders family brings with them.
Nope.
Actually, it could.
No,
Well, I
they
know
wouldn't.
that obviously isn't how it played out, but
And NFL owners are
If you know
historically
anything about
conservative.
football, you don't screw around with quarterback. You screw around with quarterback, you're finished. The quarterback, you're not going to win unless you have a solid, mature quarterback. Not going to happen. I don't care how many Hall of Famers, whatever the hell you have on the team. Quarterback can throw away the game, every other play.
yeah, he touches it every
And-
single time.
If he doesn't have the complete loyalty of his line, they can ruin him. Even Brady. I mean, Brady wouldn't have been Brady if he didn't have that great line. Brady had the greatest line I saw in modern football. Brady would get sacked 7, 8, 9 times a year. Eli Manning would get sacked sometimes 7 or 8, 9 times a game. You know the difference between the two? There was only one thing that helped us. It was because our coach was smart enough to know there's only one way to defeat Brady: constant, absolute, unbelievable pressure, because he's not used to it. You got to beat them on the line. You don't have to beat Brady. You got to beat their line. And the Giants won 2 Super Bowls against them by beating their line. They got safeties against them in 2 Super Bowls, which means I don't know how often Brady was knocked into the end zone.
Justin Tucker.
Both times it was
TPP.
Justin Tuck, both times.
Yeah.
And then in the penultimate play of the second Super Bowl, with the Giants when Brady ultimately made his Hail Mary pass. It was almost caught.
Nobody remembers that.
He went back to pass on the 20-yard line. Had he made a 20 or 30-yard pass on the 20-yard line, he'd have been on the 50 without really a Hail Mary pass to make. Instead, Justin Tuck put him down on the 9-yard line. He sacked him twice in the game. Second play of the game for a safety, penultimate play of the game to make a Hail Mary pass almost impossible. Now, we'll tell you how great Brady was. Brady reached the freaking end zone from the 9-yard line in a catch that Gronkowski almost made. And Gronkowski was injured. So Patriot fans would say if Gronkowski was injured, he'd have made that catch.
Right. Those are some of them.
So I mean, that's what I mean. Football, but you got two quarterbacks there, including Manning's brother. These were leaders. The team respected them. The team respected Brady. He took a cut in salary so his linemen could make more money. Right. He probably took them out to dinner. He bought them jewelry because he made a lot more money than they did. Manning would invite them for the summer to come and work out with him, pay all the expenses.
I would too, if
so that the receivers were on target with him, and he and his brother would do it together, even though they were on different teams. I mean, that's also Manning took a cut twice, using the example of Brady did it twice with the Giants, except they never got him a line. Peyton couldn't beat Brady originally because Indianapolis didn't get him a line. Finally, Indianapolis got him a line. He finally won one game.
But they don't have much up there in Indiana, right?
Well, that was football. So when we get to football, we know we're getting near the end. That we do want to say we're getting Rudy, Rudolph W. Giuliani is getting nervous about some of the equivocation with regard to Iran and some of the language about they can be nuclear as long as it's only 2 or 3%. I heard Rubio say that. It gave me an upset stomach. I really don't think we can be outfoxed by Russia in Ukraine. It'll mean too much in the whole world view of us as really being tough, because you can say you're tough, but you got to deliver. So far, Putin's been pushing us around. And this desire for some kind of written agreement with the biggest liars in the world is sick. There's something wrong with it. I hope it changes. Those could be very, very big problems. Tariffs, the rest of it, forget it. He's going to run away with it. These two may determine whether your great-grandchildren are speaking Chinese. Okay. On that thought, let's all pray for a great pope. All of us. Catholic, not Catholic. It could mean a lot. It could mean a great deal to a world of peace. Look what Pope John Paul II did. Well, pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for the people of Iran. Pray for us. We still need help, God. And pray for a very wise decision by the cardinals on a pope that can lead the world back to God. Not just Christianity, not just Catholicism, but back to the common creator of all of us, God. God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,